Hey guys, Danielle Phelps here with June Chang. Oh my gosh, so excited to have her come and do a paid ads training with us. She is a lot like me. She believes in having a clear plan and having set intentions for why you're doing ads and why you're doing the things in your business. And she is from Leviosa Marketing. And I'm just going to let her dive right on in, introduce herself, introduce her business, and allow her to just get right on into it. All right. Go ahead, June, take the floor.
All right. So happy to be here. I'm so excited that I'm going to be with like-minded people who are just ready to ramp up their business. So I'm, like Danielle introduced me, my name is June. I'm from Leviosa Marketing. I help mompreneurs and business owners get consistent 5 to 6 figure months through Facebook and Instagram ads, also Google and YouTube ads, comprehensive digital marketing strategies, and high converting sales funnels. I also just recently opened up a course teaching you how to do this yourself, just because I just have a limited amount of time. So I wanted to make sure that that resource is out there for as many people as possible.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to paid ads, like how are some ways, or when's the right time that people should get started placing their ads? Like that's the biggest question we get here is like, when's the right time for us to start putting those ads out there, and what kind of ads should we start with?
Okay, so that is a great question. I know everyone hates this answer, but it really depends. For example, if you, so on most cases, if you are a already established business who's already, having, seeing their return on investment, and you already done as much like attraction marketing and on your own as possible, and you're like, you know what, it's time for me to, utilize paid advertising, because basically what paid advertising does for you in that situation is multiply whatever amount that you have, right? But if you have 0 sales and 0 profit, that multiplied is still 0,
Right.
So you got to make sure that you have, an established base, an established, product, that's working and is already generating revenue and profit for you before you start paid advertising. On the flip side, let's just say that you are a service provider that is wanting to launch a course, right? And you want to basically do a little market survey to see that people will be interested in your course. Then at that point, that makes more sense to do paid advertising, because it will be so hard for you to try to do the market research on your own, because let's just be straight, it's hard to do it in like Facebook groups where you're pretty much prohibited from doing so. So paid advertising might be the way for you to get all of that data so that you could do your own research and see what is actually resonating with your audience,
Right.
before you actually like make your course and waste so much time and effort, and you're like, oh shoot, like no one's actually buying my course, right? And no one wants that.
Yeah, definitely. And that's something that I went through on the very first thing that I made, is like I took all the time to make it, and then I went through all the trouble of trying to promote it and everything, and nobody was interested. And honestly, it just had the wrong messaging on it, but it was still a time suck to get in there, and then nobody have any interest in it right there in the forefront.
Exactly. Yeah, nobody wants that.
Yeah. So a business who is just getting started, like most of the girls here in the University of Passion Profits, would they be better off trying to do organic marketing first, or would they be better off using some kind of ad to do awareness for their business, just to get their business name out there and different things like that?
So the thing with awareness campaigns, so you always have to think about the data that goes into it, right? So for example, this is a pretty extreme example. You might need 1,000 people that are interested, right, to opt in. And from those 1,000 people, maybe 10 people will actually hop on a call with you, right? And
Right.
then on that call, only like one person might actually become your client, right? So if you're thinking about it, that's basically what a general sales funnel is. It's like funneling them down to the action that you want them to take. So if you're ready to pretty much spend X amount over here in the awareness, just to convert them all the way down here, you still have to think about how much money and effort you have to put into the awareness just to convert them all the way down here, right?
Right.
So in order for you to do that, and you still want to build like an awareness campaign, that's totally up to you. It might, better your business in the long run, but at the same time, you shouldn't be expecting any like conversions to take place right then and there, because an awareness campaign is literally just an awareness campaign. It's not there to convert people. You're gonna have to do a lot more campaigns and nurturing to bring them all the way down here.
Right, right. And then whenever it comes to budget, like what should a person expect to have in budget for ads whenever they very first get started?
Okay, so that is also a really great question. And it also really depends. Um, Generally, I would say you need if for it's so hard. Okay, so one of the clients I'm working with right now, she has a multi six-figure business, right? But hers is a product-based business. So obviously the profit margin for that is a lot lower than someone who's doing a solopreneur service-based business, right? Because
Right.
for solopreneur service-based, you're generally taking like about 80% of the profit home. But for product-based business, there's so much, overhead that takes place. But even then, I advise her to do anywhere from 20 to 25% of her desired revenue to be into her advertising, right?
Oh,
And
I like that.
advertising could be, your email marketing platform, your, paid ads, all of that. That whole system should be about 20 to 25% for product based. For service based, it honestly really depends, because if you're charging like $100 for a course, for example, like you might need to spend like $500 at first to break even. Sorry, you're gonna hear my dog in the background. Break even, and then after you're generating testimonials and trust, then you might start seeing that return on investment, right? So you might start out with $500, and then as you're seeing that profit, you're gonna bump it up to like 1,000 to 5,000, right? But at
Right.
the same time, it could be because maybe you're just booking one-on-one clients, and initially you did $1,000 a month, but because you got so good at your messaging, you could drop it down to 500, you could drop it down to 300. So it really depends on how good you are with your strategy, how good you are with your messaging, and if you're not losing anybody in the sales funnel. Because you might have a really great ad, and then when people go to your landing page, they have no idea what the hell this is about, and you're gonna lose people.
Right, right. And
You
it's
gotta
really
make
about
sure it's not just that paid advertising, it's the whole freaking marketing process that you gotta make sure it's consistent with your brand and your messaging.
exactly. And you help people with that. And that runs into the next question of, what analytics and pixels are needed to get started with ads? Like what specifically do people need in order to get started?
Okay, so that is also a great question. It really depends, but for sure you do need to start with a Facebook pixel or a Google pixel, just so that you have a greater understanding of who's actually clicking, who's actually going to your ads or your website even, or even on your email marketing platform, you should have a pixel on there so that you're able to track where everyone is in that sales funnel, and you're able to have a better message per person on that sales funnel, right? Because someone who is brand spanking new, who has never heard about you before, that message is going to be a lot different than someone who's down here who's ready to buy, right? You're not going to be talking about the same thing over here and up here. If you are, then you're going to lose a lot of sales in between right there, right? So so that Facebook pixel is going to be a key point for you to like see where people are at the sales funnel, and for you to understand where that analytics is. Of course, it doesn't make sense if you just have the Facebook pixel. You still need to understand what all those numbers mean, but it's a great step for you to get there.
Right. So if you're mostly using Facebook and you're going to be using Facebook ads, do you need the Google Analytics on your website? Like how does that work together?
So I generally like to have both, just because I know people are, freaked out about the whole iOS update. They're like, oh my gosh, the iOS update, what does that mean? But for me personally, I haven't really seen a huge difference with my clients. And I think it's because I always make sure to, review all of my campaigns for my clients, right? The people who are complaining about the iOS updates pretty much are lazy people who just do the campaigns, forget about it for a month and be like, oh my gosh, the numbers have dropped. And it's like, yeah, because you're not checking on them, right?
Right.
Like you're not gonna leave a baby out and expect them to feed and clothe and diaper themselves. So it's
right.
Kind of the same thing with ads. Unfortunately, you always have to monitor them. So the reason why I always do the Google Analytics as well is because sometimes Facebook does mistype the kind of traffic that takes place. Sometimes it says direct instead of social, which means Facebook or Instagram for traffic. But it's because maybe you put in the link directly in your ad, right? And if people click on it, what Facebook is going to think of it as, it's going to be as a direct link to your website instead of from your ad, which is going to be considered a Facebook traffic, right?
Right. So you would have to put the link would have to be on a button from Facebook in order for it to
exactly. Right. And then there's also like UTM source codes that you could put on that as well to, double making sure that it's going to be it shows that it's from Facebook. And obviously there's a lot more that goes into it as well. But generally it's for my peace of mind to make sure that it makes sense on both Facebook and Google, that it's tracking pretty much.
Gotcha. And so you help people set up all of this whenever they come to you for ads, right?
Yes. So a lot of Facebook ads managers out there will pretty much just, set up the ads for you and like not explain the whole process behind it. And then people will be like, oh my gosh, Facebook ads don't work for me. And I'm like, yeah, because, they literally just did XYZ and expect your business to do well from that. But your business is going to be very different from another business, even if it's the same industry, right? Your messaging is going to be different. Your target audience is going to be different. So what I do is pretty much I help them from the beginning, make sure that their messaging is on point, right? Because you want to make sure, I feel like a lot of the times as experts, you get so used to talking about your own lingo that it makes sense to you, but from someone else, they'll be like, what the hell are you talking about, right? So you got to make sure that your client, your prospect is actually understanding what you're trying to convey to them. And a lot of the times people, they don't want the product, they want the result that it's going to give them, right?
Right.
And so many times people push the product saying, this is going to be great for you, but they're like, no one gives a damn about that. They want to lose 10 pounds. They want to see $10,000 in sales. They want the result. They don't want the product. So
right.
You got to make sure that messaging is on point. So that way you're actually generating sales.
Right. Definitely always speaking to what they're wanting, not what they're needing.
Exactly.
And with your process, you really help them to understand, what is happening behind the scenes, because that's what I go into in a lot of my trainings with my girls is, you want to know what's going on. You don't want to just go to somebody and expect them to do something for you and you have no idea what's going on, because with the world today, they could be totally doing something completely wrong. And you want to have that general idea of what they're doing. So that way you can truly watch it and see how it's going. And so I love that you work with your clients to teach them on what's going on, because there's a lot, like you said, a lot of ads experts out there. They're just going to be like, you go to them and they're like, okay, I'll set up all your ads and all this stuff and you don't worry about anything. But then like you said, it's not converting or whatever. And then you have no idea what's going on. And you're like, why am I not getting results? And they're not informational and educational with you to tell you what's going on and why it's happening like that. So I love that you work with your people and actually educate them. And then you recently created a course on ads as well, right? Do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, so pretty much after a certain point, I got so many inquiries being like, hey, like, do you mind making a course? Because unfortunately not everyone could afford my services, right? Or some people, they simply want to understand on their own before outsourcing, because as any good business owner, you need to understand every single aspect of your business. You might not be the expert at it, right, but you still need to at least understand the basics of it. So that way you're not shooting yourself in the foot when you're outsourcing that, right? So basically I built a course kind of going over everything from understanding the sales funnel all the way to creating a converting ad, and helping you understand the analytics behind it. Because if you just have only one of those pieces, it's not going to make sense for you to have a great performing ad. You might get lucky once in a while. You might get, X, Y, and Z result, but it's not going to be consistent for you, right? So I was like, you know what? I'm going to just make a course, keep it a little bit more affordable. And then that way, if they want to pursue the ads on their own, they could do so. Or after all of that, they're like, okay, you know what? I understand now, but I would still rather have someone else do it. Right. At least have a peace of mind that, in the event that the ads manager doesn't really explain to them what's going on, they could go in themselves and be like, hey, this is actually doing really well, or be like, what the hell is my ads manager doing? I'm gonna fire them.
Right. Yeah. So I love that. And does it go into teaching you how to do the ad yourself, or does it basically just explain everything that goes along with ads? And
so I do like a whole screen recording with pretty much my face in the background, going out on a step-by-step basis and explaining to you what each one does. So like even in Facebook ad campaigns, like what does each campaign purpose is, why you would pick that campaign, and how it translates to the sales funnel, right? And what kind of copy and what kind of image that you would put on there, all the way to targeting, all the way to like what kind of frequency, what kind of impressions, what kind of return on ad spend that you should be expecting in that kind of ad.
Awesome. Okay. So, and one last question that is coming across my mind right now, and I literally just lost it as you were talking, but there was one more question that came across my mind, and it had to do with, I don't know. I'll keep thinking. Tell them like where they can find you if they have questions and things like that. Where's the best way for them to contact you if they have questions regarding Facebook ads and to learn more about your course and just different things?
So the best way would probably like DMing me on Instagram. So Instagram.com/Leviosa marketing. There goes my dog again. But yeah, and then I usually respond right away. If not, then you could email me. There's the email button right there on either my Facebook or my Instagram. But if you're like, you know what, I want to go bypass all of that and rather have a one-on-one call with me, I do offer free 15-minute consultation calls just to see what would be the best fit for you. And you could go on calendly.com/Leviosa marketing and book a call there.
Okay, guys, and all of that will be down in the description of this video. We'll have all the links there for you to connect with her. If you have questions concerning ads, there was one more question that I had because it popped in my mind, but then it was gone. And I should have wrote it down as soon as I had it. But it was literally concerning something that you was saying in your course, and I have no idea now, but it's left. But anyways, you guys, if you guys have questions, let us know. We're happy to get your questions answered. Like she said, go ahead, and if you have questions, you can reach out to her. And the main thing is just, finding, whenever you're going out there and finding somebody to do your ads and stuff, be sure to interview them. Be sure that they understand ads themselves. And just like she's sitting here telling you and educating you on all the parts and telling you about her course and how it teaches you all those aspects of ads, like, have that general education on ads before you ever go out there and start hiring an ads expert to just completely take over that aspect of your business, and at least have a few parts of your business set up in the back end when it comes to your offer ladder and kind of knowing what your messaging is and things like that. So when you go to that ads expert, you actually have something to take to them, so that that way they have everything that they need to go ahead and start that process with you. And it's a good thing to always have a little bit of a budget set up when it comes to ads, because you don't want to just throw money at the wall and it just not know what you're doing with it. You want to have those clear intentions behind it. And June will totally help you with all of that and get clear on your marketing. So that way you've got a good plan in place, if you don't already, with our business plans that we create in the University of Passion Profits. And she will really get you streamlined and focus on the intentions behind your ads and get you performing with the right ad to get the results that you want. And I just want to say thank you, June, for coming and answering questions for us and helping us to get started in ads, because I know it's something that all these girls are asking about. And it's like usually right at the start, they're like, when do we do ads? And they're just so excited to get started. And so I really wanted to get them this general information on when's the right time and what they should expect whenever they're starting their ads. So thank you so much for coming and doing this with us today.
It was my pleasure, Danielle.
Well, we really appreciate it, and we can't wait to take a look at your course and learn more about ads and to truly just, get closer to that 6 figures, because that's the ultimate goal here at University of Passion Profits, is to get these girls to 6 figures and beyond. And so thank you so much for being a part of this team and to help these women to do and accomplish the results that they're wanting to accomplish, to live that life that they truly want to live.
Heck yeah, you will all get there. Trust us. Like, if we could do it, everyone could do it.
Yes, and it just takes commitment and determination. It doesn't matter how long it takes, just be committed to doing it and what it takes, and keep striving for it, and you will get there.
Yes, for sure.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching the training, and I will see you in the next training.
Bye.